Well, good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. As you may have heard or figured out, after-school programs are an absolutely essential part of the core of my being as an educator, and I'm really thankful for the work that you do every day. In schools, we hear and believe these words frequently: each, every, all. Each student deserves success. Every student needs to succeed, and we are committed to all students and their success. But achieving that is really a challenge. And one of the things that we found clear back in 2002 was that we needed to do more for some students to ensure that they had the opportunities to succeed with all students. And that's really a challenge because at that point we didn't have additional funding to pull that off. So we started to piece together after-school programming by rearranging the schedules of our Title 1A assistants. So we learned that if we switched them from 5 days a week to 4, and we changed the hours in which they worked, we could provide a 45-minute extra dose after school 4 days a week for our students. So it was an experiment, we tried it, and those students blossomed. And we thought, wow, this is really the ticket. So then we learned about the 21st Century Community Learning Center grants, and I'm sure every one of you is as thankful for that opportunity as I am. Because what we discovered was the opportunity to really make after school happen for all of our kids. And we started off with just the elementary level, pulled together a planning team, and we started to research, what do really successful after school programs do? Because at that point, what we were thinking was they do more academic support after school, double dose for reading, double dose for math. But what we found is after-school programs that succeed with students don't have to look like the traditional school day to help boost academic gains for kids. And that was a pretty exciting idea to us. During those years, that was when we were all really feeling confined as educators because we could truly only have enough hours in the day to focus on reading and math. Everything else just sort of went by the wayside. So what we discovered with that research was after school is a magical, magical time because we can do all of the fun things in after school and really give students a positive learning environment. And we can show students through after school programming that learning is truly one of the most enjoyable things in life. And that really gave us a challenge. So we started off that first grant with trying to pull together all of these different exciting adventures for kids. We had a crocheting class and a pottery class and a clogging class and a Mexican dance class, all of these wonderful, wonderful opportunities for kids. And we found that they loved to be there. And the program grew and evolved to what it is today, which is the STEM Academy of Umatilla. Since that time, after-school programs have become an absolutely essential piece of our programming for all kids. Through our after-school programs, we provide the first employment for many of our high school students. That gives us the opportunity to help them learn valuable job skills while also teaching our younger students. We learned that after-school programs can be the extra employment that allows a lot of our part-time employees. In a small town, employment is always a challenge. So a lot of our part-time employees can go from working for benefits to truly having a living wage job because we can put those two components together and get them the hours they deserve so that they can live and thrive in our community. But more importantly than all of the gains to our employees was the gains to our kids and to our families. But it's not always easy. And as you know, opportunities and the chance to serve students after school is truly a blessing, but it's also a huge challenge because for many of us, the day-to-day of what we don't have and what we can't do gets pretty overwhelming. So in Umatilla, there's a pretty long list of things that we don't have that truly creates challenges for after-school programming, especially when we're trying to provide a program focused on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So we don't have a workforce to teach after school in Umatilla. We don't have examples of many STEM professionals in our community. In fact, we don't even have a medical doctor in our community. We don't have access to big business donations to fund our programs. We don't have a lot of economic development in our community. We don't have the engineers and corporate sponsorships that help most robotics teams succeed. We don't have the latest state-of-the-art tools or facilities, and we don't have colleges or universities or industry in our backyard. We do have gangs, criminal activity, drug trafficking, extreme poverty, and a history of low academic achievement and oftentimes low academic success. And those things make it very difficult to do our work because we know our students deserve more, but sometimes how to get them more is the real challenge. And so what we have to do in order to achieve what we do is flip it. We have to stop talking about our barriers. We have to stop talking about what we don't have, and we have to start thinking, what do we have? And what we have is, what we don't have again is bureaucracy. In our system, our layers look like this. Student, this last spring, tells Mr. Ego and I, you know what would be really neat? We need an internship program for our after-school program so that when students are hired, they're already fully trained, and that gives us more staff in our after-school program to help with some of our management issues. Guess how long it took for us to implement that? Good idea, Josh? Good idea, Heidi. Let's just do that. I love that. No bureaucracy. After-school programs, we don't have the layers that we have to go through in a traditional system. If we have a good idea, we do it. We do not have small minds. We do not accept the status quo. And we do not have staff that will settle for anything less than the very best for our kids because we know they are the best. We do not have barriers, and we do not have distinction between the after-school and school day unless we choose for it to be there. We do have tremendous community support. A few years ago, our robotics team made it to Worlds for the first time. It was a surprise to us. I'd like to say we believed in those kids and we knew they were going to make it. But in reality, they won. We cried our happy tears and we panicked because we thought there is no way we can raise $15,000 in 2 weeks. But we raised $17,000 in 2 weeks because our community cares for kids. We had a farmer who sold a cow, gave us the money. We had a lady who came in with a bucket full of change from Home Depot, this huge Home Depot bucket. And she said, I was saving this for a vacation, but I want our kids to go to St. Louis instead. And she brought it in for us. We had a yard sale where all we did was set up tables in this big parking lot and pray that people would bring things. And they did. So people brought things and they bought things. And at the end of the day, we had empty tables again, but we also, at the end of those 2 weeks, had $17,000. And we all got our bus driver's licenses, and we took turns driving the kids to St. Louis because our community cares for kids. We also have leaders who collaborate from the city, from the schools, from the community, because we know that if we want to change the economic climate in our community, if we want Umatilla to not be defined by what we don't have any longer, we have to train our kids to be the leaders, to be the economic developers for our community. So we get together and we do that. We also have incredibly talented students. We have incredibly dedicated parents. A lot of parents are working 2 and 3 jobs because they know that supporting their students so that they can have a better future is what they are giving to their kids. And they show up and they attend and they do all they can for their kids because they know their futures will be brighter because of their efforts. We also have partnerships with colleges to offer college credit, and partnerships with Intel, Google, Autodesk, and as of this week, IBM, to allow our students to see who they could become, to dream the dreams that they didn't know existed, to see the careers that they didn't even know were a possibility until they see them. We have bilingual and bicultural students who are the face of America today, and it's very exciting. We have a 2-time world qualifying high school robotics team, But more importantly, we have kids and families who know that they are the solution for our future. And that's all pretty exciting. So one of the things that we try to do is focus on what do we have and really look at things through an opportunity lens of what can we create for our kids to open up the opportunities. And I think the best way for us all to remember today, the work that every one of us are doing every day, that you are doing every day, the opportunities that we create, is to hear from the people who are impacted by the work that we do. So today I've brought with me a number of our parents, a number of our students, and they're going to tell you the impact of after-school programs on them. But before they get started, I'm going to tell you the impact on me. So because of our after-school programs, I get to be the coach of a robotics team. And I get to spend my evenings hanging out with the smartest kids you will ever meet. And some of them are here today. So Alex, will you kick us off and tell us why after school matters to you?
After school matters to me because of the impact it made on me. It made me understand how I could utilize the brains of other people's to help find a problem to something that we could all get past.
After school impacted me by allowing me to realize that education after high school isn't a dream, it's a goal, and it gave me the skill set to reach it.
After school has given me a substantial. After school has given me a substantial amount of life experience and skills, including manufacturing, cooperation in large groups, composure under stress, and engineering.
With after-school program, my son can be creative and be learning when I'm still at work.
Most of my life, I felt like an outsider, someone who wasn't accepted by anyone nor hardly cared for. When joining the after school, I've learned valuable new skills, new experiences, and I finally felt like I belong somewhere. I learned that I shouldn't be afraid of who I am. From the impact that after school has given me, I want to do the exact same thing and give back to the wonderful community that's helped us get this far.
After school impacts me by allowing me to spread my love of music to these students that most of whom wouldn't have had a music education if I wouldn't have taught it.
As a parent and seeing the huge impact the robotics team has made for my son and watching what these amazing kids in action is why I decided as a parent to volunteer my time and raise money for these wonderful kids.
After school impacts me because it is going to give me the opportunity to teach kids something that is really important in my life and to see them develop the same love for it that I do.
Through a parent's eyes, I have seen my kids' confidence and responsibility grow with its acceptance. I've seen them blossom into amazing young adults who now look at what they have instead of focusing on what they don't.
After school has given me an opportunity to gain experience in the career I want to have.
Buenos días. Primera persona que habla español, ¿verdad? Bueno, well, I don't participate directly in the after-school program, but my kids, my wife, have taken courses there. And I felt like living in a community such as ours, where most of those people are under poverty. This would not be possible without the after-school. My kid would not be able to attend Lego League. My wife would not be able to advance in her studies. She's taking GD classes. She wants to go to college. So I feel like this after-school program has given them the opportunity to be more successful and better prepared in their life.
As a teacher for the after-school program, I've been given the opportunity to make incredible connections with these students.
Do you see why we do what we do? So I hope that as you're hearing our kids and our parents and our teachers talk about the impact after school has on them, that you're picturing your students, your parents, and your teachers, and realizing that what you do every day is not just impacting that school day. After school programs are more than a safe place for kids to be after school. That's important, but that's not what after school programs are. After school programs are pathways to future success. After school programs are new experiences. After school programs are new dreams. And after school programs are what make our educational system able to reach every student, every child, all children, every day. So the work that you're doing is not stopping today. The work that you're doing is impacting people generations later. When we first started this program, the reason that we started hiring high school students was out of necessity. We didn't have enough teachers. We didn't have enough bodies willing to work after school. And we thought, oh my goodness, we have all this money. We have this opportunity. How are we going to staff it? And we started recruiting students. What that evolved into was a Grow Your Own program to try to encourage more of our students to become educators. And slowly over time, we added in the college pieces, the components of the educational background, better training for our employees. And finally, in this last year, our Grow Your Own program paid off because two really exciting things happened in our community. 2 students who started off working in our after-school program are now leaders within our school system. So one has become a teacher, and she's teaching kindergarten at our elementary school, and we couldn't be prouder of her. The other is now one of our school board members. So while I was her first boss, she's now mine. That's pretty awesome. So as you head out into today, I hope you remember, and I hope that you focus on, the barriers that exist are not real. They're only real if we give them the power to stop our work. Instead, focus on what you have. Focus on your incredible kids, your incredible community. Find your resources. Identify your robo-moms and know they're unstoppable. That's the thing that we can do all together for after school. So we'll dive into real nuts and bolts in our next session, but for today, I hope you enjoy your sessions, and thanks for all the work you do.